Hey Josie, how's the writing going? Yeah, it's going pretty good, I would say. What's wrong? Well, it's just been really hard to focus. Like, I feel like I don't have the concentration to really be able to write for long periods of time and make good progress in this story. What have you been doing so far to try and improve your writing stamina? My what? Writing stamina. Your brain is as much of a muscle as all the other ones in your body. You should be able to train it the same way. How do I do that? I'll make you a program. If you can commit to writing consistently every single day for the next 2 weeks, I'm pretty sure we can get you to writing for 4 hours straight without needing a break. Let's do it. I've got nothing else to lose. So, before I start to do any kind of increase to my writing load, I have to start by figuring out what my baseline is. So, right now, how much can I write in one go before I start to tire? And then once I have that number, I can start to figure out if I want to hit 4 hours of continuous writing, what I need to increase my writing by every day to hit that in 2 weeks. Today feels pretty good. I feel well rested. I'm excited to get back into the story. I haven't done any writing in the last couple of days because I've been busy. So I think this will be a really good baseline number for me. I'm going to get to writing. I think I'm going to hit probably between 1 and 2 hours before I start to tire. And then I'll sit down and figure out what the plan is going to be moving forward for the next 14 days. My current baseline is officially 1 hour and 37 minutes. So we are almost halfway to the 4 hour goal already, which is awesome. The next 14 days, starting day one today, to get to our 4 hour attempt, we will be using a mixed strategy of things I took from weight lifting, like gaining strength in the gym, as well as training you would do leading up to a marathon, like a running marathon, to combine them together to what my strategy is going to be for the writing. So basically, what I'm doing is first, I'm establishing new baselines by doing a set of intervals. So my intervals in this case are writing sprints. So I'm going to write for a specific amount of time, and then I'm going to take like a 5 or 10 minute break, write again, 5, 10 minute break, and so on. So I'm going to be using these intervals to do total writing times that will hit kind of new levels as we go through the 14 days. After I do a set of intervals, which will last like 3 days, I'm going to be doing a recovery day, which means just one writing session, usually like a lower time goal. And then I'm following that with a long session. So if you're training for like a marathon, this is kind of going to be like pushing a little bit further to see if you can set like a new baseline. Doing 2 sets of these patterns of like 3 days of intervals, a day of recovery, a long session. And then we get to the last couple of days before our 4 hour attempt. And so this is again just trying to maintain where we're at, as well as trying to give myself a little bit of a break before I hit that 4 hour attempt. So to zoom in on the next couple of days, it shouldn't be too difficult. So for the next 3 days, we're doing our intervals where my total writing time is still going to be like just over or around 2 hours, but we're slowly increasing what those writing sprints will be. So it's like when you're at the gym doing the same amount of reps, but slowly just increasing the amount of weight, like in the dumbbell or on the bar or whatever that you're lifting. So tomorrow we're going to be doing 25-minute writing sprints with 5 minutes in between. The next day we're going to be doing 30-minute writing sprints with 5 minutes in between. And then the following day, we're doing 35-minute writing sprints with 5 minutes in between. So increasing by 5 minutes those writing sprints every day. And then after that, we'll get a recovery. So for this next section, it should be pretty straightforward. I'm not worried about it. I decided to implement a little bit of a warm up like you would do for physical activity where you're doing stretches and like active movement to try and get your muscles ready for heavier activity. But in this case, I'm warming up my brain and my creativity. So to do that, I read for about 10 to 15 minutes before the writing session each day. I think it just helped not to start like cold. And it's a really low bar to just read. So I feel like it kind of eased me into it rather than just having to like open up the laptop and just go for it. Because the start of every session does feel a little daunting, knowing you have to sit there for so long and get so much writing done. 2 hours is a lot longer than I anticipated. Like, I thought because my baseline was 1 hour and 37 minutes, I was basically there already. It was not going to be a problem, but I'm finding the 2 hours on its own already challenging. Like the first day wasn't so bad, and actually the second day I got in a bit of a groove because like the words were pouring out of me as I was really figuring out what this one chapter needed. But yesterday, that third day, oof, I lost steam quick. I just like didn't know where to take the story. I've been thinking a lot about the scenes leading up to this moment. We're really breaking into like the third act of this character's arc, and I was just feeling lost. It was getting late at night. I was tired. And so I ended up not finishing my final 35-minute writing sprint, unfortunately. So I got like an hour and a half of total combined writing in yesterday, which is a little bit short, but I'm not going to like punish myself or redo anything. I'm just going to keep going with what I have written down for each day. And if I'm really struggling in the next set of intervals, we're going to have to figure something out. But I did learn two things from this first set that I think will help me moving forward. The first thing is writing takes a long time, especially because I'm trying to write in a block. It's not like I can divide it up and do like 1 hour in the morning, 1 hour in the afternoon. The point is to try and get it all done at the same time, which means if I'm writing like 2 hours with breaks in between, with the breaks, and then also with a warm up, it could take 2.5 hours, maybe 3 hours when all is said and done. And that's like not too big of a chunk. But like yesterday, I ended up writing pretty late at night just because I didn't get around to it. I had a busy day, which the longer sessions that are coming up are going to be even less forgiving. And I don't want to set myself up for failure by making myself write super late at night when I'm really tired. I don't want to write anyways. So the first thing is I want to start writing in the morning, waking up maybe a little bit earlier and just getting it done, getting it going. Like my mind's very fresh in the morning. So I think that is going to be my best road for success. And the second thing is I feel like I have this pressure when I'm sitting down to write that I have to be writing like a million words a minute. I have to be like steady, going, always writing something down, getting lots of words in. But that's not necessarily the case. Like when I'm saying I want to sit down and write, actively writing is only part of that. Some of that will also be going back through a chapter that I did really fast and I want to flesh out. Or I could just be sitting there and fleshing out, plotting out future chapters, or going on the internet, not for social media stuff, but just to like look up, what do these things look like? What's the mechanisms behind, something I'm using in the story, so it can help me come up with ideas while I'm doing it. Like I don't have to constantly be writing. And that's something I want to remind myself as I'm moving forward, because it's like I'm writing for 2 hours, but that could just be 1 hour of me actively writing and 1 hour of me fiddling around with the story. Like that's completely okay. Today, as my first recovery day, I have 45 minutes, which honestly feels like a long recovery. I don't know what I was thinking when I was like, oh yeah, 45 minutes, that's nothing. But we're going to sit down and I'm just going to work through what comes next, because I have specific scenes I want to have happen, but don't really know the order I want them in. It was time for my first long session. So the point of this, the goal, is to try and move from being comfortable at writing for 2 hours of combined writing to going to 3 hours, which would then hold over a series of another 3 intervals. And I am so impressed by how well I managed those 3 hours. So it was in 3 1-hour blocks. And the first two, I was first drafting like pretty quickly. Like I was just typing away. I was seeing the story in my head. Everything was flowing. It felt so good. But then I finished the second block, the second writing sprint, with no idea about where to go next. So my first instinct was to say, I don't know if I can do another hour. I don't really know where to go. But then I reminded myself, we're not doing just first drafting in these writing sessions. Like I explained before, like I'm trying to change my mentality of like, you can just sit there and think for 30 minutes and that's completely fine. So I actually spent about 40 minutes sitting and chatting with my fiance, going through what my character did to get there in like the last couple of chapters, what I want to have happen. And he didn't even have to say much, but just talking it through out loud, figuring it out. I am so excited about what I came up with. And then I spent like 20 minutes just writing up the next little section as well, just writing a big block of like what has to happen for the end of this chapter. So that's where we're going to be starting off this morning. But that first instinct to just like give up when I hit a roadblock just made me think a little bit more, because the whole point of this is to try and increase my writing stamina, to try and just like break my brain out of this like constant like short form dopamine doom scrolling, rut that it is in. I'm not the worst offender out there. I'm also not the best at it either. Like I get caught up in all that stuff. And I feel like it's hard to make progress on writing and trying to increase my attention span for writing without also addressing and thinking about the other habits in my life. Because with the rise of short form media, like it's so easy to just be like, I'm not enjoying it, skip. Oh, this is not catching my attention in the first like 5 seconds, next. Like I just don't get bored anymore. Like as soon as I have to wait for something, even if it's a couple minutes, I'm pulling my phone out, I'm scrolling on something. As soon as like a movie I'm watching gets a little slow, I'm pulling my phone out. Like I will literally leave my phone in another room to try and prevent that from happening. But it just means that like I become so uncomfortable with feeling bored, with feeling listless, with just being in my own brain when I'm not sure what direction is going. But if I really want to take this seriously and I really want to improve my creative stamina, improve my attention span, like it can't just be with this, it also has to be with reducing my phone time with respect to like social media. So I don't know how perfect I'm going to be with that. I feel like this is going to be my priority, is getting these writing chunks done, but it's something I'm going to be mindful of over the next couple of days as I'm doing the intervals, and just see how I feel. If I'm actively thinking about when I pick up my phone, do I need to be scrolling right now? Around day 7, day 8, it felt like things just started to click. Like if I had tried to do one of these combined 3-hour writing sessions with these longer writing sprints back on day 1, I don't think I could have done it. But not only was I accomplishing it for 3 days in a row, I wasn't having to force myself to write. Things were still feeling really natural. It was still feeling really good. I was enjoying myself. And not only that, but I was excited to keep writing every single day. I think there is something addictive about going through your story so quickly, because writing takes a lot longer than reading does. So it can be kind of challenging because you can spend an entire day, an entire week working on a single scene, trying to perfect it and make it right, when in reality you could read that scene in 20 minutes. Pacing that a story goes at when you're writing it versus reading it is so different. So actually being able to write at a faster pace and have like a chapter go by every single day, it felt really good. The main challenge has definitely just been trying to find time to do these big writing blocks. Right now, I don't have a job, so it makes it really easy. Just first thing in the morning, I sit down. The first thing I do is try to accomplish this. It was nice yesterday when I got to do my recovery day. So I only wrote for about an hour, and I actually ended up doing it right before bed. And it felt so easy. I feel like I'd barely been writing by the time my hour was up, which just goes to show that I think I have been increasing my writing stamina. And I'm feeling a lot more confident and a lot more excited to go after the 4-hour writing attempt. But today actually is a really big writing day. It is where I'm trying to do 4 hours of writing across 4 1-hour writing sprints with 10 minutes in between. I'm halfway through. We have accomplished 2 1-hour writing sprints. We're in our 10-minute break, and then we're going to do it all over again. I have to say, though, I am getting a little tired. I am struggling a little bit just because of like where I've reached in the plot. I'm a little uncertain where to go from here. But again, I feel like I haven't been doing as good today, but that's just because I haven't been doing as much drafting. I have been writing a lot of words, but I've also been taking long breaks as I like sit there and try and figure out what's to come next and the order of things. And so even though I am sitting at my computer and doing the time, and officially I am considering this writing time, it's just hard mentally to say that I'm actually accomplishing a lot when I don't physically see it. But we are going to keep working. We are going to finish this 4 hours out, and then tomorrow we're reducing to 3 hours, and then 2 hours, and then it will be the final big attempt. It is our night before the 4-hour writing attempt. So yesterday and today was supposed to be a little bit of a taper. So when you're going into like a physical race of some kind, a lot of times like right before, you'll stop doing any kind of heavy loading, heavy work to give your muscles a break so they're primed and ready to go for race day. But I didn't want to slow down too much, because even though your muscles do well with having a day or two break, I feel like it's not the same for your creative muscle. At least for me, having a little bit of writing every single day is what really keeps the momentum going. Because if I take a day and don't write, I've lost a little bit of where I was going, the flow of the story, remembering what it is I'd intended in the back of my head to do next. And sure, I could write those things down, but I feel like when I write them down, it's never quite the same as like what's in my head. But I will say that these last 2 days I think have been a bit more intense than they should have been. So I had my 4 hour combined writing just 2 days ago where I did the 4 1 hour sprints, and that was killer. By the end, I was like really feeling it, but I was really tired that day, and that tiredness has seeped into even today. So I'm hoping that if I sleep well tonight, I'm good to go first thing in the morning. But yesterday we did 3 hours of combined writing, which pushed me a little bit. And then today we did a full 2 hour writing session. But no matter what happens tomorrow, I already have a win that I was able to write for 2 hours straight tonight when I was already feeling tired going into it. When my baseline on day one was at 1 hour and 37, 38 minutes, something like that. So I've already shown improvement over these 13 days because this is day 13. There's nothing to do now but get a good night's rest, and then tomorrow I'm going to give it my all. I did it! It is now 4 hours of writing later. Oh, I feel like my brain is so I don't even know. I can't think of words. I've written so many words that there are none left in my brain. I feel like I really hit my stride about an hour and a half in. And even though I was checking the time like every 15 minutes, counting down how much I had left, honestly, I was still going strong by the 4 hour mark, which is awesome. I just need like a second to like regroup before I can give like final thoughts about all of this. When I remember that I wrote for 4 hours straight this morning, I feel superhuman. It just feels so good to like set out a goal and not only work towards it and not miss a day, but then to go on and succeed. Like it makes me feel unstoppable, like I could do so much more. I definitely think that I had the advantage of being able to tell myself, I'm going to write for 4 hours today and then I can take it easy tomorrow, and that this was like the end. If I was trying to write for 4 hours every day after this, it'd be a different story right now. I do want to maintain some of the momentum that I've built since we worked so hard to get here. But I think for the next day or two, I'm going to take it a little easy and then hopefully get into the habit of writing at least like 1 to 2 hours a day, while also including all the things that I've been neglecting in the last 2 weeks. An unexpected thing that I really appreciate about doing this program is I tried out so many different writing sprint lengths. In the past, I feel like I've always gone for 25 or 30-minute sprints, but this challenge had me try everything from 25 to an hour long. And I do think I prefer to do the longer sprints because when I have a short amount of time, sure, I can write a lot, but I feel like it doesn't give a lot of time for reflection. But that 45 minute to an hour really gives me like a good session. It makes me feel like I'm like diving deep into my story. Because I want to be honest, for those 4 straight hours, it's not like I was staring at my computer the whole time. Like every once in a while, I'd like lean over and pet the cat or, go to the bathroom or get some more water or something like that. So it's not like it was butt in chair, hands on keyboard the entire time. And I think it's just my natural rhythm of not being able to just like sit in one place for so long. Like as human beings, that's not exactly how we're built. This is just a really nice way of exploring like what works for me with writing, because I tend to just go back to the same things again and again that work. And so pushing myself and trying something different at the risk of it not being successful is always a little bit of a challenge for me. So we went from an hour and 30 something minutes to 4 hours of straight writing, and I could not be happier with how these 2 weeks went. I got so much writing done. I cannot wait to keep working on this project. I have this like fire in me to keep maintaining, maybe not quite this breakneck pace, but at least like a pretty consistent pace as we really narrow in on finishing this first draft, hopefully in the next month. Thanks for sticking around if you've made it to the end of the video. I want to know if you thought that I'd actually succeed with my 4 hours. I don't even know that I really believed I could do it. I kind of just like, shot for the hard thing. And even if I'd gotten like 3 hours, I would have been happy. But I'm pleasantly surprised by how all this has panned out. And I will see you in the next writing video.